traditional license, which is basically like yeah, I went today.
So what I'm hearing is freedom is coming.
It's pretty much it. Did I kill it by once? I'm just trying to learn, like, because we have like such a weird method of doing that. No one drives like they do.
Oh yeah.
The worst is you have to pull up your handbrake. You have to pull up your handbrake in every stop sheet, and there's like 500 cars behind you all routing. You still have to do like 2 things like check.
Yes, we have started. I was just not going to cut you off before I said it. Matt sent me a message. Hold on, I'm going to switch this over. Okay, all right, just to a black screen because, oh my God, okay. Telegram, I hate you. Yes, I forgot Discord was using my webcam, so I can't just switch over to using it. I'm sorry. So Matt sent me a message and he was like, hey, can you send me your podcast audio before you get too far into the stream? I'm like, yeah, that's right. I exported it out and then forgot to send it to him. Perfect. 8. Perfect. All right, Matt, I am shooting you the podcast audio and I totally didn't forget 100%. Definitely didn't do that. Oh my Telegram, why are you fighting me so much? I just want to send some audio. It's okay. All right. Boom. Send. Epic. All right, Matt, I've got it coming your way. TFL is very silent. Go ahead and talk again. Oh, I know what it is. I, again, disabled desktop audio in OBS. Thank God for live streams where people can like help you fix your own issues. Granted that I caused myself, but yeah.
So can you guys hear me now then?
They should be able to.
All sorted. Cool.
Matt, no need to apologize. It's Telegram that should be apologizing to me. With their crappy getting, like, I don't know what it is, but like Telegram will do this thing. I think it's honestly just for me in this scenario, but I will, like, if I quickly log in to Telegram and get in, it will start doing this thing where like the theme, like, so I have it set to a dark theme, but Telegram, when you first log in, it defaults to the light theme. And so like, it's weird, like half of it's light theme and the other half's dark theme, and the whole program sort of freaks. So I've got to restart it after that. And I don't know if that's just me that experiences it. I haven't heard anyone else complaining about it, but that's also, it just
Hopefully
goes.
we'll see some people pop in, because I just posted that I'm live over here on the community tab of TFL. So hopefully we'll see some more people with any luck, if anyone's awake.
So someone was fixing the same issue you had in a previous stream. Or wait, no, apparently that's muting the desktop audio is something that you had in a previous stream. I do that all the time where I just mute audio sources and then forget about it and leave them muted. And then I'll just start up a live stream.
I know what Spekius is on about now. Yeah, in one of my streams, I think it actually might have been my first stream. I was totally confused about the desktop audio, and I think that's what he's on about. Because yeah, so we basically had the same problem in our streams.
Well, so I do have an interesting question for you, TFL. Very interesting question.
Shoot.
Okay, so I can't remember. It may have been you, Zoomer, that I was talking about. Yeah, no, it was Void Linux. So have you tried Void Linux? And if you haven't, would you consider trying Void?
I've never tried it. What's it based on?
It's its own independent distro. It's doing its own thing.
I might give it a go in a virtual machine. I don't know if I don't know enough about it to try it on hardware, but it's certainly load up in a virtual machine, see what it's about.
They're using their own, well, not their own init system, but it's Runit. They're using Runit and
oh yeah.
What's the other thing is, like, there's not a ton of software in their repositories. It's gotten a lot better. Like the first time I did try out Void way back, but I didn't give it any serious play around with it too much because there was so much missing in their repositories. From what I've heard, it's gotten a lot better. But it's very much doing its own thing, and I would just be interested to see if you would try it out and enjoy it. Because as far as I know, Void is more oriented towards people like you who know what they're doing in the terminal, who prefer the terminal over a GUI experience. Matt, get out. Matt, why are you turning into the person who hops into a stream and screams Gentoo? What's going on?
Oh, God. Him of all people. I thought he was sick and tired of people doing that to him. He just wants to be on the other side of the fence, doesn't he?
And of course, Lewis is in here.
Feels like to harass others.
And of course, Lewis is in here trying to bring the conversation back to Plan 9. Now, he did specify, I have to say this.
I think I encouraged him a little bit, though, by downloading Plan 9. I was like, God damn it, if you keep going on about it, fine, I'll download it.
And I mean, also, Plan 9 is one of those things where you can check it out on just about anything. As far as I know, they have it where you can, I mean, well, we've all talked to Lewis for quite a while. We all know too much about Plan 9 at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Smug, how's it going?
More than we ever wanted to about Plan 9.
Matt, this is fun. Yes, it is, dude. Streaming and talking with you guys is always great. Now, I am going to load up just a little bit of royalty-free music, which I know this is going to bite me in the ass because I'm not going to remember to stop it from playing when
copyright music. That'd be nice.
Yeah, just turn on some background music, and of course it's gonna be the stream beats, like trap. I don't think it's trap. I have no idea what it is, but it's some kind of.
I like that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not
trap, chill hop, lo-fi, and dubstep. All that stuff's my stuff. I like that.
There's some trap music that I'm into, but dubstep I used to be into it, not so much anymore. But man, there's some that's so good, like it's real good. Like it. So Zoomer, since I know you are a Void user, what's some interesting things to look out for a newbie who's coming over to Void?
I don't really know. Honestly, it just works. Like nothing really breaks like that badly on Void. It's just the repositories are a little bit bare. Like if you just don't know which, like you have to enable like a few extra repositories that you can do, like in Debian, you can enable like non-free and all this kind of thing. But once you've done that, you can pretty much get like anything you want. And also they have their own like compile method with their package manager. It's called XPPS source. And that has like anything that they're not licensed to have in the repos, you can just compile your own binary. So there really isn't any complaints. It just runs really, really fast and really smoothly.
So Smug asked if any of us have checked out Debian 11. I haven't. Have either of you checked it out?
I pretty much already answered in chat. I said not yet, but I plan to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, like my thing is so I've heard Matt. So we were talking about it earlier, obviously when we were recording the podcast, but we talked about it, and I think beforehand. I can't remember if it was during the podcast. But he's had a little bit of issues with the new Debian release, and I don't know. I always say this, and I always crap on Debian and give Debian a hard time, but it's a great distro. However, I will not, and I mean I will not try it out. install it, recommend it to others until they fix their GD website. It's so awful.
Oh.
Just because even Matt today, who normally is like more on the side of Debian, like when it comes to how they distribute their ISOs, he's normally a lot more forgiving than I am. Even he's like, yeah, I had to hunt down the Bullseye download. And I'm like, do you see my point? Like, even you who knows what's going on, it's a nightmare to find an ISO. I hate it.
Yeah, but just getting like the main ISO, it's pretty easy to get, isn't it? Like the main ISO, not like
not really.
Or whatever.
No, see,
the website is like an actual maze. It's like almost impossible to find anything on the website.
All right, so
Okay, I'm going to see if I can find it.
No.
Start from the homepage and make your way to where you can download it from.
I'm going to do this live on my screen where everyone can see it. Okay, so you've got this big download.
Big button that says download, huge giveaway.
Yep.
And then it immediately starts downloading it. So that was difficult.
No.
Seriously, what's wrong?
But see, that's not the non-free ISO. That's not the non-free.
Yeah, I get that being difficult, but that's like a non-standard ISO, or at least that's probably their argument, making it really difficult to find.
But hold on. So this is the just the regular Debian, not the non-free. So again, my argument here is not that it's super hard to just download regular Debian, but for a new user, especially like if you think about it now, laptops, portability, super big. Most people have laptops. A lot of regular, non-Linuxy, non-computer oriented people aren't building their computers. And a lot of people aren't, like a lot of people are upgrading now because, a good example is we know plenty of people who have talked to us who have recently in the past couple of years upgraded their computers or purchased new ones. And when you're upgrading or purchasing a new computer, you're most likely going to be getting a laptop. And not everyone, like for me here, if I wanted to have my laptop plugged in through Ethernet, I have to go and get one that's long enough to go from here to down there, because all of the freaking Ethernet cords, most of them, we've got one that's super long in here. The rest of them are pretty freaking short. They're like 2 or 3 feet. It's super annoying. But I have to have one that's long enough. A lot of people actually don't even use Ethernet nowadays, so Wi-Fi is not going to work on this. So for one thing, this download here, for the average new Linux user, they're not even going to be able to install it. It's a net install that Wi-Fi is not going to work. So that's a major problem. So to find the non-free ISO here on their website, you need to go down into More and then Download. And then once you're here, this is a very confusing page. They got a lot going on. Buddy, stop. He's trying to get into I have an old Sonic bag. Hold on. Stop, man. I know my room's dirty, but can you please leave me alone? I know it's dirty.
He's shaming you on a live stream.
But okay, so let's go to download an installation image. And then once we're here, okay, small CDs, USB sticks, okay, we need AMD 64. So we go here, right? This is giving
already far too many steps.
This is again the regular version. This is not the non-free. So that's another. All right, so now we need to find the I'm even lost. I don't even know where I need to go to get it. So let's go back.
They clearly don't want you to use it.
Exactly. And this is my problem. 64-bit net installer, complete installation image. If we go here, no. So now, screw it. Now I know what I'm searching for. So Debian non-free, we'll search that. Okay, so we get a link here to this directory, and again we're met with problems.
Now.
Again, I just cheated, but we're still met with more problems because I'm trying to act like I'm a new Linux user here. So what do I need to do?
I assume.
Yeah, exact. Okay, so let's go to current. Okay, AMD 64. Okay, now we're met with this list: BT-BD, BT-CD, BT-DVD, ISO-. Okay, let's just say I know I need an ISO, and even though I'm going to be flashing this to a USB, I need a DVD. So let's just assume that a Linux user a new Linux user should know this, which is they're not. But anyway, go to ISO DVD. All right, so we're at this page. We scroll down here to this, and now we're met with this image here. If I download this, guess what? It's not the non-free ISO.
Oh, rip.
Oh my god! After all of that, it's still not the one.
Exactly.
And also with which is the normal Debian installer. It's just better ways to get an ISO with a live environment, because then you get the Calamaris installer, which is like 10 times better than the one that they have for the net install.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the non-free ISO winds up actually being better than Ubuntu, like in my opinion at least. I wonder if I were to try, because I've never tried it, like would I find that to be a better experience than Ubuntu? You never know, that could be quite life-changing for me.
If you can find it, it probably would be better for you.
Yeah, I can find it.
Yeah. That's the main problem.
I'm surprised people don't just host it on a different website just to make it easy to find.
And I will say this. I have had someone reach out and tell me I have it. I have the ISO on my GitLab. You can pull it down there. And I'm like,
awesome.
That doesn't solve, like, I mean, yes, thank you. That's nice. That's a very nice offer. I can't remember who it was who told me that, but thank you. But that doesn't solve the very glaring issue with Debian. Like, and the sad part is I will defend Debian in this, where it's not, the argument is not with the distro itself, but how they distribute it. And it pisses me off to no end, because how can there be so many other distros that understand how to distribute ISOs? Me and Matt picked on Arco in the live stream, or the podcast that we were recording earlier, because they have a ton of different options and stuff. But at the very least, they, at the bottom of their website, hey buddy, man,
it's always in the live stream. Oh my god. Always in live stream.
He ain't going. There he goes.
Oh.
What
is it with dogs? They know.
I know. He's got to protect me from all the evil kids outside playing. Look for the herd ISO. I actually don't even know what the herd ISO is. Is that a?
Me neither.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know if you guys could hear him, but he's just standing at the window growling.
Yo, Zaney, Tifa, I'm gonna put up the live stream on my phone, but I'm gonna go make some pasta and stuff quickly because I'm quite hungry.
Ooh.
So I'll check you guys later.
Dang it, man! You just had to bring up food. If you could just stick your hand through my monitor and hand me a plate of pasta, that'd be amazing. That technology needs to be invented.
I'll airdrop it to you. Don't even stress. But yeah, thank you. I'll check you later. I'll check you later.
All right, have a good one, man. Buddy, I know there's evil kids
earlier as well.
Oh, dude. I wish I had actually, like, my grandmother made spaghetti not too long ago. God, I wish I still had it. It was so good. So good. Debian used to work.
Pasta with chicken meatballs.
Ooh.
Just to make you hungry.
Yeah, just in case I wasn't hungry. Man, come on. Chill.
He's stealing the show.
He really is. He's like, you know, people on your live stream just want to hear me. You know, that's really what they want.
Obviously.
Okay, Herd is apparently a custom version of Debian. Never heard of it. Ryan, you're so right. He's like, why was an emoji held for review? That's YouTube for you. YouTube will like let you post some really, really questionable stuff, not hold it for review, and then someone, you know, it puts in asterisks like sneeze, and it's like held for review. Definitely don't want anyone seeing that one. I'm like, YouTube, come on.
That's messed up.
Well, so out of all the distributions out there, what's the next one that's on your list to try? Like personally, you want to try out?
Oh my lord, there are so many that I've been curious about. I guess the next one is probably Manjaro Cinnamon, but then people have been telling me that Manjaro is crap now or something. It's not very good now, so it's kind of swaying me to not use it. So then I'm thinking maybe Linux Mint Cinnamon. Why Linux Mint? Well, because I hang around to Linux Mint support forums for ages. I've been doing that for a really long time now. So I feel like if I'm going to go on about Linux Mint, I might as well use it for a while, live in it, and see how it is these days. And,
well, at least you and Chris,
maybe Linux Mint Cinnamon.
Yeah, like at least you and Chris Ware can get along nice in Linux Mint.
Yeah.
Matt, I swear something has come over Matt. I don't know who's hacked Matt's account, but
I'm not installing Gentoo. Stop. It's not happening, guys.
Actually, you want to know what? You want to know what, Matt? Just say Gentoo one more time. We'll make that the next challenge. We have to live a month in Gentoo both. And by the way,
a month?
For yeah, exactly. He keeps talking. We'll do it for a month. And for everybody who that would make them
a day.
See, people will be like, yes, absolutely, you have to do that. Just know, if we do that, there's not going to be videos made for like a solid week and a half. Like
yeah, exactly.
That's
no
guaranteed.
Content for them. I guess that's that then. Bye, YouTube. Thanks for watching the last live stream you'll ever see.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, here's the one thing that ticks me off about Gentoo is like the last time I tried it out, it blessed me. I don't know what sacrifice I made, but it apparently was to the proper deity, and it installed no circular dependencies, no nothing. And then after, like, it was working perfectly fine. I had rebooted multiple times, and all my internet and stuff was working fine. I rebooted just randomly one time. I was trying to get like I was messing around. I was just messing around with Xorg, and I rebooted. Wi-Fi, even Ethernet stopped working. I have no idea why. Just Gentoo picks on me relentlessly. Yes, Ryan. Zoomer is a Void user for sure.
When is the Ubuntu CE review? There's always one.
I see, like that's one of those things where, like, in the video that I put up, I'm like, I'm not gonna be touching religion on this channel, and then everyone's like, Ubuntu CE, maybe, you should probably do that. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not against it, but then again, like, I'm not super big into Ubuntu, and I really don't need Ubuntu coming with a Bible study application, if we're being completely real. Like, I just don't need it.
I'm not religious, and because I'm so strongly not religious, yet want to be respectful to those who are, I would be worried about talking about it in a live stream like right now. As you can tell, I'm struggling.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'll be a little bold about it. I think Ubuntu CE and the specifically inside of CE and that presenter application that they come with, I think that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, why do you need to recreate a presenter application religiously? It makes no sense. Like, just Microsoft Word. I'm pretty sure Microsoft is not anti-Christian. I say that with no backing, but
I've
also,
never heard that.
yeah, I've never heard anyone be like, man, I would use Microsoft products, but they don't worship at the same church I do. Like, that's so weird. Like, what? But then again, see, like, if I'm going to check out Ubuntu CE, and we're being completely honest, I have to be fair about it. I have to be completely fair about it and take a non-religious stance on it. So I have to, at the same time, try out Ubuntu Satanic Edition. I got to do both.
Oh, yeah.
Or Ubuntu, which,
to be fair about it, yeah.
Again, I started searching really weird Linux distros, and I'm telling you, man, it is surprising as hell how many distributions are made for like subsets of people, which are very weird. Like, I found one edition of Ubuntu that was specifically made for Orthodox Jews. Like, not Jew. There's Jubuntu, which is Ubuntu made for. It's so weird. Like, the amount of operating systems that are available for whatever religion, whatever you are, is
something for everyone.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess that's one thing we have above Microsoft. We're definitely more inclusive. Which, hey.
Do you like Hannah Montana? Sorted. Do you like Satan? Sorted. Do you like impossible to find ISOs? Sorted.
Again, I'm just waiting for one Debian developer to just pop into the stream and be like, I really don't like the way that you're talking about Debian. I'm like, I'm sorry, man, but y'all have got to fix your
We're not talking
downloads.
about Debian. We're talking about the stupid ISO, the site thing.
And it's one of those things where like I honestly can't understand the people who defend Debian in this, because it's not difficult. It's not difficult to make your downloads very straightforward for people. I think what it is they essentially use like an archiving way of distributing their different ISOs. So like they assume that most people know how to just dive into an archive and sift through large amounts of shit to get what they want. And for a new user, like, which is what Debian is good for. I mean, even if yes, people would say, you know, like for a complete noob, like sure, try out Ubuntu first. But if we're being honest, Debian is fine for a new user too. I mean, they have a graphical installer, so you can install it graphically, and you can install like, you know, a DE right out of the box. I'm pretty sure it provides you with an option for something. I can't remember what DE it is, but real believers choose. Go ahead, sorry.
I've never really thought like recommending Debian for new users, to be honest. But I might just be stuck back in the days when it was like Debian 9 or whatever it was, and even at that time it felt ancient as hell. So within that mindset, like I've struggled to recommend that to newbies.
Well, see, here's the thing. The reason I think Debian is for new Linux users is not because it's hyper easier to use. Buddy is about to start up again. Hey, buddy. Hey, dude. Buddy. I know you can hear me, you dipshit. I know you can hear me. Buddy. Give me 1 sec.
So yeah, this is going well. Yeah. I think Buddy's gonna kill this damn stream. And he's back. I can't even hear him now. I think he's forgotten he's muted. Oh my lord, Zaney.
I did. Good God. Oh, this stream, I love it. I dropped the blind down
with both hands. It's like a full two-handed face palm, the real face palm.
Don't knock yourself out, man.
I'm surprised I didn't desk palm. Or wait, desk face? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. Right, Debian, where were we?
Yeah, so I love how I've dropped the blinds down where he can't see out the window, and he's still sitting next to it growling.
He knows.
He's like, there are people out there. I know it, buddy. It's okay. They won't hurt me. It's all right. But well, we can hope.
I don't know where that came from. Yeah, they will. We were talking about satanic stuff earlier. It just got to me. I need Ubuntu CE to set me straight.
There you go, man. There you go.
Right path.
You just need a good old
study the Bible.
Yeah, you just need a good old Bible study, and you'll be fine, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, when it comes to Debian, like the reason I think it's for new Linux users is like I'm not saying like we should recommend it or it's recommended a ton to new Linux users, but if I put myself into the mindset of someone who's just new to Linux and is wanting to try it out themselves, once you start looking into Linux, there's so many different distributions for you to look at. It's a little overwhelming. And so what a lot of people, or I guess to me, like the way I would look about it is, okay, so there's a ton of choice. And when you start looking into them, a lot of different distributions are based off of other stuff. And so you would be like, well, why choose that when it's just essentially based off of something else? Because for me,
so you
like,
want to just go for the original.
Exactly. And that's how I was. Like I wanted to go for, like, the reason I stopped using Ubuntu wasn't because Ubuntu was bad or anything, but because I knew it was based off of Debian. And I'm like, well, if it's just Debian with added extras, why don't I just install Debian and put exactly what I want on my machine? And so I feel like for a new Linux user wanting something that everything's based off of, also, if you think about it for a second, for a new Linux user, they're going to think, well, if everything's based off of it, it's probably easier to use than everything else. And again, that's not the case, but still, without having anyone else, tell you these things, I feel like that might be your mindset. But
I don't think I ever thought that, to be honest, when I was new, because I was already in a distribution at that point. Like, when you initially look at these distributions, you don't instantly go like, oh, that's Debian, that's Linux Mint, which is based off Ubuntu, which is based off Debian. You just see Linux Mint. And it's only until after a while you eventually find out, oh, okay, so this is based off Ubuntu, which is based off yada, yada, yada. And at that point, you're already in Linux Mint, and it's either working for you or it's not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Bruce, welcome to the stream, man.
Yeah, hi, Bruce.
Bruce, I gotta say,
video, by the way, Bruce.
Yep, wholesome as hell, man. Loved it.
Yeah, maybe grin like an idiot. So normal.
I went from Ubuntu to Arch to Artix to Alpine in one day, and I'm on Debian. Holy crap, that is a lot of distro hopping in one day.
What a journey that must have been.
Well, but I said that, but then again, I thought about it for a second. There was a day in which I popped from Gentoo to Debian, to Gentoo, Debian, what was it? Gentoo, Debian, Elementary OS, Linux Mint, Manjaro, and then ended up back on Arch.
Careful, don't say the G word too many times. You'll trigger the chat.
I know. Well,
one person in particular.
Let's be real here. There's nothing I can do to trigger it. It's going to come in no matter what. The Gentoo comments will always be.
Let it happen.
I mean, you got to. It's always going to happen. If DE installs of Debian come with everything a new user would expect, I guess Debian would be fine for them. I mean, to be honest, when it comes to a new Linux user, I feel like a lot of us have the wrong impression of new Linux users. Like, I feel like a lot of new Linux users will come in, and as long as they install a DE that comes with a software center, they're pretty much good to go. So, and almost every DE comes with its own software center. So for most people, I think just about any DE works. And if there's a new Linux user in the stream, let me just go ahead and say DE is an abbreviation because Linux people love abbreviating stuff. It's desktop environment. I always
abbreviations is ridiculous.
I know, and that's another thing that cracks me up about people who like get all upset about GIMP being named GIMP. I'm like, it's actually not named GIMP. That's just an abbreviation for it. I can't remember.
I'm sure they did it intentionally.
Well, I mean, if you try and say GNU's full name, or GNU, good Lord, what the hell am I saying? GIMP's full name, GNU Image Manipulation, is it program? Or photo? Yep. Okay, I can never remember.
Program,
yeah. That's it. That is no one's going to use that in regular talk. Like, hey man, so what are you using right there? Well, actually, what it is the GNU Image Manipulation Program. Like that is doesn't roll off the tongue.
Rigid.
Yeah.
Sounds like something Sheldon off the Big Bang Theory would say.
I feel called out, Chris. Never. It's funny that this stream, it's only been, well, up until this point. Now I'm looking at chat and people are supporting it too.
Speak, yes, it's on point there.
Yeah.
He knows what he's on about. That's pretty much every window manager ever.
There's the best name for a window manager, like, well, again, this is sarcastic, but the best name for a window manager that I've ever heard is Herbsloff WM. Like, And
German word, yeah.
And the thing is Herbstluft WM is great, but just for most people out there, you assume that it's an abbreviation for something, because again, when you get into window managers, everything's an abbreviation. So you're like, what in the heck does that mean? The first time I saw Herbstluft WM, I thought it was a meme, to be honest, because I thought the name of it was going to be like, that's the abbreviation for it. It's some massively long name. No, just a German word, but still.
I think it means autumn air in German, if I remember correctly.
Autumn air. That's actually really pretty.
I think. I could be wrong, but I think.
I do like that name though. Like like our window manager is just a breath of fresh air, some autumn air.
It's kind of a shame they didn't actually call it autumn air, but they're German companies or German developers or whatever. So I guess we can forgive them.
I guess this one time we will. I guess.
A lot of people really struggle to pronounce it, I've noticed as well. I've heard some pretty horrendous pronunciations of it. Not that I'm saying mine would be professional, not professional, but like perfect. But Herbstluft WM. Herbstluft. I'm sure there's like Germans in the chat right now. They're like, yeah, you said that wrong.
I hope they don't come after me because I say everything wrong. Luckily, that's one thing I will say. A lot of, as much crap as the Linux community gets for being abrasive, a lot of people are super forgiving when you say like the whole GNOME thing over GNOME.
Oh God, yeah.
Like it truly is something that we sarcastically joke about. Like no one in the real, like no one is really going to get upset over how you pronounce it.
Have you seen the YouTube comments? Some people go pretty nuts over it.
Well, I have seen some who actually get upset about it, but when I say some, I mean two people in my entire. The rest are sort of just joking, like, "Sir, it's GNOME, not gnome." Like, I feel like it's that whole sort of like.
That just reminds me of the whole. That reminds me of the whole "if I might interject" thing.
Yeah. To me, it just sort of brings me back to Stallman being like, and as I've taken it to calling it now, like,
yeah,
come on, man, it's
my eyes roll so hard when I see that shit. It just drives me nuts.
It's
like, oh, haven't we've the point that we should all say GNU/Linux.
That, and also like, we're misusing words, like creator content. We need to be careful about how we use those words.
Oh, I don't really care. That's just, I think maybe he's getting a bit too caught up in the details. Maybe I could be entirely wrong, but it's just based on what the little information I have cared to learn about this stuff. I just don't really care. Like I'll say Linux, I'll say content creator, whatever. I don't really care. Mm-hmm. People, if they know what I mean, if I'm getting across the right sort of message, I'm okay with it. What about you?
All right. Well, my opinion might be a little bit more controversial here, which again, it's my opinion. So if you have a differing one, that's fine. Okay. We can both get along and be adults. My opinion is that it's absolutely retarded. Okay. Word policing, it doesn't matter. And also, you're not going to changing the way someone uses a word or what word they use doesn't change what they mean. Like, I don't care if I called GIMP Photoshop and we all called GIMP Photoshop, guess what? GIMP is Photoshop.
Still GIMP.
Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still the same thing. We still, like, as long as we all know what we're talking about, there's no problem. And when I say a creator, like, Stallman's like, well, you think of God. No, like
what?
Like that's no. I
do not think of God. Good Lord.
Exactly.
God.
Exactly, and that's my thing. Like, you can't police words. It's not going to work. And also, BTW, I use Hannah Montana. We might drag you in here in just a sec. All right. But I'm a little nervous to do that only because if I drag you into this, well, actually, if I drag you in here, you're not going to have the permissions to be able to talk unless Lewis has fixed that for everyone. But even though I will say Lewis is on top of everything. I don't know about it. Good Lord, this stream. Yeah, black screen. You're welcome, guys.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing that as well. Oh, there we go. I've got the stream up so I can keep an eye on the chat.
Perfect.
So I'm watching you guys. I'm watching.
Keeping an eye out.
My eyes on you.
Speaking of which, hold on, let me go up here. Speaking of you being in chat and everything, you'll be my first YouTube moderator. There we go. There we go.
Oh, that works.
So really, any of you act up, TFL's coming for you, okay?
I don't know what to do, but I'll figure something out. I'll just look all mean with my eyes that none of you can see. And that will be the real pain of it, because you can't see them. You just won't know how fiercely I'm staring at you.
Well, so when it comes to Richard Stallman, because I think we hit an interesting topic here. So have you at all seen the Avoid Words article by him that we were talking about?
No, because I don't really tend to bother with that crap, because it's, you know, it's like, well, I'm trying to be nice.
I completely understand your stance, but I'll go ahead and be the controversial one here. If you want a good freaking laugh, a good laugh, this is an article I highly recommend you'll take a look at. It's, again, if you want a good laugh, go through it. It's hilarious.
Well, feel free to read some good quotes if you can think of some particularly good parts.
I'm looking at it right now. Here's a great one. Cloud computing. The term cloud computing, or just cloud in the context of computing, is a marketing buzzword with no coherent meaning. It is used for a range of different activities whose only common characteristic is that they use the internet for something beyond transmitting files. Thus, the term spreads confusion. If you base your thinking on it, your thinking will be confused. Or could we say cloudy? Bro, when someone says cloud computing, I know exactly what you mean. It is not confusing one bit. God. Now, if you
thinking when he wrote that?
Exactly, like, oh my gosh, it's just one of those
things.
About
going down the rabbit hole.
Like, again, you want a good laugh, just read through it. It's one of those articles where it points out the reason that I'm not huge on the FSF. They waste time writing articles and doing stuff like this, where I'm like, my money's better spent going to a project that I use on the daily, you know, I almost said Discord, not Discord.
Not Discord.
No, like GIMP, OBS.
If today's stream is anything to go by.
Yeah. Discord ain't getting that money.
Yeah.
And this word should be banned. I mean, that really is a lot of that article. Like, it comes across as we have to police words, and it doesn't do anything. Actually,
sounds like he's part of the cancel culture,
which is weird, because Stallman is what many people would describe as a victim of cancel culture. But even past that, I would like to get your opinion on this. Do you think that article, word policing and everything, doesn't it, again, this is my opinion, so I'm just saying if you have a similar opinion, but I feel like it does a disservice to Linux, because it makes you sound like, it furthers the elitist sort of attitude that people have when it comes to Linux. Like,
yeah,
you're less of a Linux user. Yeah, I don't know. At least
it can do if you get caught up in it.
Exactly. It makes you seem like you're riding a high horse. Like you're less of a Linux user, or less of a FOSS supporter if you don't police words, or don't talk in a certain way, which I'm like, it really doesn't matter, man. Like, people know which. I don't care if you come up to me and tell me that I'm a poo-pooer. If poo-pooer meant YouTuber, that's and we all understood that term, and what it really meant. I mean, it's fine. Call me that.
I'm
like,
a proud poo-pooer.
I'm a proud poo-pooer. I spend my time poo-pooing on the poo-poos. Oh, awesome. So our Cinder's going to do a stream. I'll check it out. I actually haven't checked out your channel. I need to do that.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were doing YouTube stuff, Arch, so I'll check that out as well.
The elite users are the Gen 2 users. See, here's the thing when it comes to Gen 2 and being elite. A lot of people say that Gen 2 has a very elitist attitude, and I really don't think so. It's really just, if you want to become your own system maintainer, Gen 2 is the distribution for you without a doubt. I don't think it makes you any more elite. It makes you someone who spends a lot of time maintaining your system, which, if that's what you like doing,
definitely, then
more power to you.
Or at the very least, a lot of time compiling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even that, dude. Managing a Gen 2 install is not straightforward. It's a whole source distribution, so you can't just run a simple command and upgrade every package on your system quickly. You know. Yeah, like, I mean,
it does not sound fun to me.
Yeah, like I mean, I personally really for a long time thought Gen 2 was the right distribution for me, and eventually I would move into Gen 2. But having spent a lot of time in Gen 2 trying to get a working system, then getting a working system and trying to maintain the working system, it's not for me. Now I know there's plenty of people in this chat who are like, Gen 2's for me. It's for me and it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's for everyone
right now.
And I don't think it's for everyone, but if it's for you, then love the hell out of Gen 2 and again preach. Preach about like
Gen 2 sits in the back.
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of people have the opinion that, like, you shouldn't talk about the distro that you like because it comes across awful. Like, I mean, you can be a bad minister of your distribution and over talk about it, but in a lot of cases, as long as you're a sensible human being, you can talk about it all you want, and for a lot of the times, it's nice. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't even know about Gen 2 if people didn't talk about it. So, you know, no LFS is better.
Ubuntu, by the way.
And do you like it?
Yeah.
Well, then great.
I mean, not straight Ubuntu, but I like my take on Ubuntu.
Wait, so you question here. So do you have the desktop environment of Ubuntu at all?
No. No, I always install with mini.isos, advanced, and then command line expert command line installation, something like that. And basically, it's a similar kind of approach to the so-called Archway, just less obnoxious. Mm-hmm. So you don't get a DE or anything like that. You just get bare essentials. In other words, the Ubuntu base. Then I add my own stuff and I do my configurations, all that fun stuff.
Man. You need to be using GNOME, okay? Okay? You're not living life right unless you're using GNOME.
No, not after I've seen GNOME so-called 40, even though I hate that. You don't go from 3 to 40. Oh.
I love how Matt commented right as I said that, because I was just about to be like, Matt's, I can already hear Matt's from like miles away. Like, GNOME, no, grody. Like, I mean, I love
think I could have
GNOME.
maybe stomached 3, but 40 is just, that looks so painful to try to use.
Well, I will say one thing. When it comes to 41, at the very least, they are making it an easy option to turn on workspaces for every single monitor you have. Which I think it's absolutely mind-blowing that was something you had to, like, go in, like, install GNOME tweaks, then go in there and enable that. Because... I mean,
and how the hell is a user meant to figure that shit out? And why should they be expected to know all that?
Yeah, and also, like, if you have multiple monitors, like, I don't understand the reason for just limiting workspaces to your primary monitor. Like, it's not like because you have workspaces on your other monitor, you're like suddenly life is made more difficult. Like, I don't understand the reason of just. I don't understand of just having it on the primary. I don't see it. Andrew
Just want
laughs
to
in
address
Windows.
Smokey's question here.
Uh-huh.
Just want to address Smokey's question here and say that I do use a display manager. I use LightDM. I've used LightDM for years. I have my own sort of configuration of that as well. It's kind of very simple, as you might expect. But it looks quite nice. I like the looks of it. I know I could just use Start X and do all that kind of stuff, and I did do that for a brief time. But I like LightDM. I don't mind using it.
Well, my problem with LightDM is that when it works, it installs and works beautifully. But I've had multiple times where I install it and set it up just how I normally do, and it doesn't work for some unearthly reason. And so I've just stuck to using StartX because, I mean, if we're being real.
Say that actually, because when I've tried LightDM in Arch, I've actually had issues. So especially with locale.
I think it has something to do with Arch in particular. Like, I know most people on stable distros don't have a problem with LightDM ever. So I think it does have something to do more with Arch. But if we're being honest,
probably Arch, probably because Arch is crap.
My argument against using LightDM for me personally, like not for everyone else. Like, I mean, use whatever you want. Like a display manager wise, like who cares? Like, if it works for you and you like the aesthetic, go for it. But for me personally, like, my argument against it is because it sometimes won't work, and StartX is fine for me. StartX, there's really not a problem. Like, I'm not going to do an update and StartX not work. Like, that's not a thing. Like, StartX always works.
You know, I'm amazed. I just said Arch is crap, and you're not like foaming at the teeth.
No. Again,
just to clarify, I don't actually think Arch is crap. I was just seeing your reaction. I was curious to see how you'd react.
See, I won't even have one because it, like, if someone comes up to me and says, all right, so like the things I use, like Arch, Qt Browser, Firefox, OBS, Kdenlive, if they come at me and say all of those and like they list off every single program that I use and they're like it's dog crap. I hate all of them. I'm like, okay. Like, it doesn't affect me one bit. Like, it's just that those are the things that I like to use. And if you hate everything that I like to use, okay, like, that's your opinion and you are very much entitled to it. I am very much entitled.
You're very mature about that.
Well, I mean,
some of the chat not so mature. They're raging right now. Guys, just so we're absolutely 100% clear, I was joking. I do not think Arch is crap. It is, but I don't think it is. I'm just kidding.
You just got to slightly trigger them just a little bit more. Just a wee bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit. For the views, yeah.
I love Matt's comment. My fragile ego has been insulted. Like, I don't know. I'm just very confident in what I like to use. Like, if you like, and see, people come at me a lot for using Discord and like, and not liking Element and Matrix. That's my opinion. Like, I've never been the type of person to be like, if you use Matrix and Element, I think you're a horrible and stupid person. Like, that would be a crazy statement. Like, just use what you like.
That either. That just seems a bit overkill. I mean, I don't. Is that something like how Stallman would think? Do you think?
Well, I mean, like, let's be honest. We know that's how he thinks, because he's like, if you even come within 2 inches of a proprietary piece of software, you're committing a horrible sin. Like, it's like,
yeah.
To me, it's like one of those things where you actually do more of a disservice to whatever you're trying to promote or enjoy using by talking about it in a way like derogatory towards the people who have a differing opinion. Like, you make yourself and what you're talking about seem less appealing and also kind of distasteful. Like, you do a disservice to what you're talking like that. And that's why I'm not a big fan of the FSF. Like, they very much degrade the Linux appeal to newcomers, because it seems like very hardcore. Like, there's either a right way or a wrong way, and I'm like, I mean, use what you want to use
in the software world.
Yeah, like,
or in the world in general, really.
And also that's another thing when it comes to Stallman, where I'm like, I don't think he really understands. Like, there is a place for everything. Like, there is a lot of people don't understand this. In life, balance is everything. You can kill yourself with chocolate. Yeah, like you can kill yourself with chocolate.
Yeah.
You can also take cyanide in low enough doses where it will literally in no way harm you whatsoever. And so balance with everything. Like there is a place in the world for proprietary software. There just is. And again, a lot of the times, like I still will agree with a lot of people. There's a lot of proprietary software that it has no excuse and no valid reason for being proprietary. And I very much agree with that. But there is a place for proprietary software in the world. And I think it's quite ignorant to be like, there is no, like, if you're proprietary, you're immediately awful. You can't exist. You have no right to, like, it's the same kind of people who will fight and argue with you about intellectual property. Like it should never even exist. And I'm like, yeah, like that world could exist, but in that world, you don't get AAA games with high quality and stuff. And again, that might not be your thing, but I like living in a world where I at least have those options, you know? Do you disagree?
No, I agree with you. I'm just remembering the last time this came up and you ranted and raged about drivers, like drivers being proprietary.
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks of that stream.
I mean, we could dive into. So actually, here's a good question for you. So would you defend, actually, no, here's an even better one. Could you defend NVIDIA's drivers being proprietary for just 2 minutes?
Oh, probably not. I mean, maybe in the sense that it helps to protect their technologies, you know, from a financial perspective, you know, intellectual property kind of thing, but that's really it. And as you mentioned in the last time this stuff came up, I think it was you said something like, it's not the software you're buying, it's the hardware. So.
And see, when it comes to trying to defend NVIDIA's drivers being proprietary, I will give them this. Them being proprietary protects their business model. And I'm not saying this is right. Okay. I'm just saying this is a good defense for it in a world where we sell stuff and that's how you I don't know, feed your family, or pay, employees so that they can feed their families. Their business model relies on them essentially through software segmenting their actual hardware. So I don't know if you know this or not, but when it comes to the regular consumer NVIDIA products like, GeForce, compared to the good Lord, industry stuff like Quadros, it's really the only difference. So like Quadros and stuff, you can do stuff like you can essentially take a Quadro and cut it up into multiple different VMs. I think it's called vGPU or something like that. Nice. Yeah. So that's like, you can do that where you can essentially take like, a really powerful NVIDIA Quadro card and split it up into essentially like, 760 Ti's and like 8 different VMs and use it that way, which is great. And technically speaking, the only reason why GeForce card, and not technically, it's actually 100% true. The only reason that GeForce cards can't do the same thing at 1/5 of the price is because in software, they have disabled that feature. So they charge much more for Quadro cards and you get features like that. So it protects their business model.
Hardware limitation?
No hardware limitation. There's actually, I don't know if it's still around, but there's actually a guy who, I'm sure NVIDIA shut him down, but he actually had a whole GitHub page where he walked you through, essentially you had to hack, like you had to change the like firmware BIOS on your GPU. It was very in depth. You had to do a lot of stuff, but you could hack a GeForce, the 3000 series, and turn it into a Quadro card and enable all of those features.
People hack just about anything. It's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A little disturbing, but amazing.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a good defense for them having their drivers be proprietary, because their business model is built around selling massive companies much more expensive hardware. Again, I'm not saying that's right or anything, but that is a justification for making them proprietary.
I definitely don't think that's right.
Yeah.
That is messed up. That's really underhanded. That seems like a Microsoft move, if anything.
Exactly. Like, I don't agree with it. But if we want to talk about it really seriously, AMD doesn't do the same thing. And so AMD is not privy to as much money as NVIDIA is because they do those, again, distasteful practices of disabling hardware features just in software.
But because of that, you could argue it's great because they get something called brand loyalty, and that can be very powerful, especially, I imagine, for the long-term financial earnings of a company or something. Manufacturing.
And if we're being quite honest, the reason why NVIDIA hardware is typically more powerful than AMD hardware is probably due to that extra revenue that they get. I mean, if we're being honest, which again, I don't think that's the right type. I don't think that's a right kind of business practice. I don't think it's a consumer advocate way of going about doing your business. But you can at least, like, again, my point there is just that you can have valid reasons for doing something proprietary, and even though you may not like it and disagree with it, there is a place for it. Again,
yeah, I agree.
And it's one of those things where we live in a world where there's infinite choice. So if you don't like AMD, and you want to go proprietary, have the best of the best, go NVIDIA. You don't like NVIDIA, go AMD. If you don't like either of them, buy an Intel graphics card. Those exist now. Lord knows if you actually want to use it. And then you can also go over to China, where there are plenty of other GPU manufacturers, which, again, Lord bless you, and I hope to God you have luck with it. But I don't trust any. Like, it's not that I don't trust it, like, because I think they're going to steal something, but I don't trust a random GPU manufacturer that I've never heard of to produce something even as comparable as AMD, one bit. I just can't. I can't believe it.
Also, on the note about proprietary stuff, it's like people forget that if what we say is true, which is that Linux is about freedom, and I believe it. You probably believe it. A lot of people believe it. Linux is about freedom. So, as I've said before to other people, that means also the freedom to choose something different, like proprietary stuff. We have to embrace that. If we can't just embrace freedom and then be like, oh, but freedom, except the freedom to choose something we don't like, because that's not embracing freedom. Yeah, of choice, at least.
And I agree. That's very much the case. Again, I'm gonna ruin pronouncing his username, but Speakius or Spakius.
I give up every time. I just say it any odd way.
Yeah. Well, and he said, well, actually, for intellectual property, have you seen, I'm not even gonna try saying that, his video on how creators shouldn't own their own creations and why. It's a very interesting take. I haven't seen the video, but I can definitely go ahead and give you my opinions on that. Because like those kinds of people who advocate for you not being able to own something that you make and choose how you're going to monetize it or anything like that. Typically, if we're being completely honest, they're normally really down on their own luck and stuff. Because if you think about it, like, it doesn't make sense for you to even advocate that someone who makes something spends a lot of time on it to at least have the option of trying to make money off of it. It doesn't make any sense, because that assumes that we live in a world where resources are infinite and there's never a chance of you needing, I don't know, resources to get food. Like, like, people got to eat, and we live in a world where food costs money, and to get money, you have to spend your time doing something that earns money. And so it doesn't, you wouldn't have, like, people wouldn't create things. Like, if you go back to, like, there's a reason why we live in this type of society that we do. We used to be hunters and gatherers and spend all of our time looking for food. In that type of society, you can't have your local painter that he has to get food himself. He doesn't have time to freaking paint all day. So if we lived in a world where no one really owned their own creations, there was no way of protecting what you spent a lot of your hard worked time creating, man, we wouldn't have a lot of the great things that we do. We just wouldn't.
Speaker's just made a good point there. That assumes that the only option for making profit is the distribution of the, for example, software, which is a good point because you can make money through many other ways, such as I don't know, a service or merchandise or other things I can't think of because I'm so tired.
Well, but that's my point though. We used to have it where, like, all right, in China it's free game. It's like free game. You can copy just about anything. Like, even though there is IP over there, it's not taken seriously. So you can walk into a wholesaler or a retailer in China and purchase a Gucci bag for $20. Again, I don't think Gucci's pricing or anything makes any sense whatsoever. But let's say you and I spend 5 hours, because I assume neither of us are, I know myself, but I'm going to assume you're pretty much the same as me. We don't really spend a lot of time being artistic and like creative. So like, let's say we spend 10 hours of our time creating a fantastic new t-shirt. Like it's got a really cool design and everything. We spend that 10 hours making it, and then we start selling it for $5. We make it very, very reasonable. If someone else can take that design and make it for cheaper, they will. And everyone will buy that person's stuff because it's cheaper. So we have essentially lost out on all of our time, effort. Exactly. And that's why IP is necessary. Like, intellectual property is not, it's not some evil thing. Like, it really does protect you. Yes, IP can be used in ways that it should not. But that's more of an argument against proper regulation, not abolish like IP. It's the same sort of argument as the people who want to abolish the police. Like, you take out the police, someone will become the authority. And trust me when I say, you don't want your local gang becoming the one who runs the town. They are much worse to deal with than the police. Police have problems, but so does the gang. I'd much rather deal with the police, where the police can probably, and when I say probably, I mean there are really good avenues for going about dealing with a bad actor in the police than your local gang. I'm pretty sure the local mob boss is going to take it easy on his employee, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
So
when you were talking earlier about like us not being artistic or whatever, I really had the urge to go grab my guitar, but then it's like 1 a.m, so
yeah.
don't think the neighbors would appreciate that.
I would, if you want to. I'll go ahead and pause the music, and you can play just a wee bit of guitar in the background if you want to.
I can't. It would be really unfair to the neighbors. As I say, it's really late. Just me talking is probably a bit loud, really, but I will.
Do you live in a place where you got like thin walls next to your neighbors?
Yeah, pretty thin.
My buddy has to deal with that. Like, we've been up late at his house, and like we can literally hear his neighbors snoring, and I'm like, God, I feel so bad for them. So like, we're watching TV, and if I can hear them snoring while the TV's on, they can definitely hear the TV.
Oh damn. Mm-hmm. I have heard the guy upstairs. I've heard him snore once. I sometimes will hear him like, now I'm speaking quietly so he doesn't hear. And sometimes I hear him like yawn, like this really loud, like amazing, like he must be having the best yawn of his life. If it's a yawn. Please God, let it be a yawn.
We all hope it's a yawn.
When the washing machine goes off, it just like shakes the whole flat. It's horrible.
Well, to you, Spikeus, well, regardless, I do want you to watch the video. It's still very interesting. I'm going to go ahead, just because you said that, and get it loaded up. I'm not going to play it right now, but I'm going to get it loaded up so I don't forget, because I also need to reference. I have no idea. I went to a full-blown toddler there.
Yeah.
Unique name Osiris. Let me copy that. And
you're welcome, Bruce, by the way, to what you said in chat earlier.
Get that loaded up. Okay, YouTube's going to take forever, but at least I'm loading up his channel. There you go. I will definitely watch that later, for sure. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, so what's your take like on IP? Do you think we should abolish IP? Do you think, it needs to stick around? What's your opinion on it?
What's IP?
Intellectual
What's it stand
property.
for? Oh, right. I like how things are, like in not China, like over here and over there and stuff, like just having our rights to our own things that we create. I think we have earned that. If we create something new, if we have put our heart, soul, time, money, whatever into it, we should have the right to that. We should be able to claim that. I mean, why not?
I agree.
I can't think of a reason for otherwise. And maybe I could, like, if somebody develops the cure for cancer, for example, and they put their heart, soul, money, yada 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 into it, could you say that, well, that's their property and they have chosen to withhold that from the rest of the people? I don't know. I'm waffling nonsense. That's what happens when you're sleep deprived.
Well, actually, now again, we'll dive into an even deeper rabbit hole. I think if you come up with a cure for cancer, for whatever, you should have a right to make it or to sell it, because again, it's up to, like, now see here's the thing. I'm not saying you should sell it for money. I'm saying you should have the option to choose whether or not you're going to sell it for money. Because here's the thing, making a vaccine or some type of vaccine that would cure cancer is not free. It's going to cost a lot, and I mean a lot of money. And it's actually asinine for you to think that you should definitely get it for free, because you don't go down to your local butcher and tell him you want meat, like, and expect him to give it to you for free. That's crazy. Even though you need food to survive, you're not guaranteed a meal. You're just not. And I think it's asinine for you to think that a cure for cancer you should be given for free. Now, I do think it's reasonable to assume that if someone does create a cure for cancer, it probably should be distributed for free. But demanding that it has to be is a little crazy, Do you disagree with that? Did you mute yourself? I can't hear you. Oh, Discord. I love you, brother. You got to get your act together. Getting it for free doesn't mean that you don't get funding. Well, I mean, the money that goes into making it has to come from somewhere. And whoever gives them that money assumes something in return. And here's the thing. If the government is paying for the cure to be developed, then they've already bought it. Like, yeah, you'll get it for free because guess what? The government's already paid for it, and the product is cancer, is cancer, is the cure for cancer. So, like, yeah, someone paid for it. Like that's really my point. Is like, it's not crazy to assume that you have to pay for something, even if it's the cure for cancer. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean that's my point. Like, someone's going to pay for it. So someone is going to pay for it, and if someone's not going to pay for it, then it's at that point philanthropic. Oh no. Well, hopefully your internet comes back up here soon. Well, yes, but then it doesn't mean that the people in the society don't get it for free. But see, again, I agree with you, but you didn't get it for free because you paid taxes. So you paid taxes, so you paid for the cure in a way. Like, not really in a way, it's quite directly, you paid for it. So, I mean, it's really how you look at it, but saying that you shouldn't own something or be able to sell it breaks down pretty fast, because then it de-incentivizes making stuff, which is a bad thing. That's the same thing as saying that free healthcare is not free because you pay taxes. Well, technically it's not. There is no such thing as free healthcare. That being said, there should be free healthcare here. I don't think there's any American who's like, free healthcare is the worst thing ever. Like, even though there, quite frankly, are a lot of people who say that, I don't think they're all that rational. Like, free healthcare is already a thing here. It's just we don't call it free healthcare. I went to the ER not too long ago, and I can't afford to send the bill that they sent me. I called them up, told them I qualified for financial assistance, wrote it off. So, I mean, technically speaking, we have free healthcare here, but no, we just don't call it free healthcare. And also, you have to know that there's that option of, it's not paying, but it's essentially you got to jump through legal loopholes to get to free healthcare here, instead of just you walking in and getting free healthcare. Drug companies are not exactly in the business of giving things away for free. Here's the thing. I can even further that. Companies are not in the business of giving away things for free in general. People are not in the business of giving away things for free either. People who make FOSS software hope to get donations and hope to make money off of their creation. They're just not as stringent about you having to pay for it to be able to have the right to use it. You know, again, I still advocate for both. I think both need to exist. The ability to give it away for free and the ability to charge money for it, both have a right to exist. And I don't think it's black and white where in any one scenario, one is the right way to do it. It's really just we should have the option to do both. You should have the option to pay for your healthcare and not pay for your healthcare. You should have the option to, do that with anything. You should have the option to pay for it and not pay for it, and both come with their own pros and cons. Balance and choice in everything, I think, is good. Same. When we say free healthcare, we always mean with we always mean with taxes, and when we say free vaccine, we always mean funded. True. But I mean, when you think about it, even though the flu vaccine is funded by developing a flu vaccine, trust me when I say the government gives them grants, at least here in the US. I don't know about what country you're in, but here in the US, companies get grants for developing things like the flu vaccine and everything. They still charge for it. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that I do advocate for the right for choosing whether or not you're going to pay or not pay for something. I still think in an ideal world, you would have a free flu shot and a paid for one, and there would be differences between the two. Maybe they're just manufactured by different companies, whatever. They might even be the same damn thing, but whether or not you like this company more, you trust this company more. Like, again, I think choice in everything is important. Yeah, no. Oh no. I don't know why. Internet seems to just be down a lot of the times for a lot of you guys that I talk to. It's very unfortunate. I wish internet was as reliable as it is here, which, that being said, literally like 3 weeks ago, our internet was down for like half the day. So even here, I got problems. I don't think internet's perfect everywhere. Hey.
That was a pain in the ass.
So the internet's back up.
Probably used all my bandwidth just like that in that one quick time on my phone. I had to use my mobile net, which sucks. It's just, I get like, oh, actually, no, I'm thinking of that old 500 megabyte I used to have every month. It's, I got a couple of gig now, so that wasn't too bad.
I mean, it's still probably ate up a little bit of it. Streaming video is not, it's not bandwidth cheap.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No. I mean, it's not like you can. It's not like you control how reliable your internet is.
Yeah, there's pretty much nothing I can do. Now I need to restart the chat window thing.
And I do like your comment. Like
Sorted.
It is really nice to hear people who actually appreciate free healthcare. Like a lot of the times
I
hear,
do. I'm so lucky.
I hear people like, I hear a lot of people who who just take it for granted. Like it's one of those things where here, like, even though there isn't really free healthcare, there is a way of, again, if you have the know-how, there's pretty easy ways of not paying for your healthcare, and not being reprimanded for it, you know. But for a lot of people, they don't know that, so they just drive themselves into debt, paying for stuff that they shouldn't really have to pay for.
I've known someone who done that, big time.
I mean,
thousands upon thousands of dollars.
I've had family members who, like, I mean, we're talking like over $500,000 of debt, in paying for cancer stuff.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's an obscene amount of money.
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know if you heard the guy, heard of the guy. I can't remember his name, but he was called the, like, the pharmacology supervillain, but he bought a company that made a whole bunch of different drugs, and one of them was like an insulin drug that if you were diabetic, you know, you obviously need. And he hiked the price from, like, I think it was like $30 a bottle all the way up to like $1,400 in under 2 months. Just because he said they weren't making enough money, like not they couldn't afford to keep making it. They just weren't making enough money. And he
hitting their profit margins.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, he was responsible. I remember there was like, people did a lot of interviews with him, but I mean, again, talk about the most hated man in America for like quite a while. There was a video where they sat him down and interviewed him, and they showed him a video of 2 women who were like both diabetic, and like him, like, his sole decision had crippled them and had literally driven them into multiple thousands of dollars of debt. And his response was, I mean, he was really the epitome of a really shitty person, because he had a smirk on his face watching it, and I'm like, dude, how do you have any lick of humanity in you when you're faced with people who you have destroyed their lives and you have a smirk on your face? That's
I could not sleep at night if that were me.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Especially as my dad's diabetic.
I mean, I think we all know at least one person who's diabetic.
True. It's amazing how common it is. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. We all like to like not think about it, just how common mental health issues are, and we just sort of just don't talk about it. Like, it's something that needs to be addressed. Just like, I don't know, free healthcare here in America needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we dived deep into that rabbit hole, but back to Linux.
It's not even just physical healthcare as well, because like even for mental health support over there, that's really difficult as well. I've heard a lot of stuff about people struggling big time with mental health, and they can't get help because they can't afford it, because it's obscenely expensive.
And not even
this,
that.
like, you're so like, you're just in the middle of nowhere, and there's nobody actually available.
But even if you live in an area where it's very common and easy for you to get help, it's almost impossible to get a lot of people who need mental health treatment in to go see someone, because legally, the way it's set up here, that person who's mentally ill has to choose to come in to go and get help. And somebody who is paranoid schizophrenic, who truly believes that the government is out to get them and stuff like that, you can't convince that person, like, hey, you should go see a doctor. Like, that's not going to happen. And there's like, I don't know, the way that we treat it is just like, that person doesn't need help. If they did, they would go get it. And it's like, man, like, I don't think you understand mental health one bit. Like,
there's another thing that just pops into my head just now, is that I've noticed this from talking to people who have problems, like mental health problems over there versus over here, is that over here, we're not so happy to hand out pills, but over there, Lord, they give you pills for everything. It's like, oh, you got a sore throat, pills.
Mm-hmm.
Is your feet sore, pills. You know, feeling suicidal, pills. You got OCD, pills.
Mm-hmm. Well, my buddy, so
Crazy.
I love my buddy to death because he fell off a ladder and he fell off of it, I believe, 4 steps up. And so he didn't break anything, but he sprained his ankle pretty bad. And when he was in the hospital, so the doctor came in and offered him Oxycodone or oxycodone or whatever. And he was like, no, I don't want to take those hard pills. Like I'll be fine. Just give me something like Tylenol or whatever. He still wrote him the prescription for Oxycontin, and he was like, I'm not going to fulfill this, but okay. And so then another doctor, before he left the hospital, he had to see one more. I can't remember. It was like a specific specialist that he had to go see, and he wrote him a prescription for I can't remember what it is, but it's like essentially the equivalent of like a pill version of morphine. And he was like, he was like, I just sprained my ankle, like, you know, a high dose of Tylenol and I'll be fine. Like I don't need to take something that's probably going to get me very much addicted to it. I'll pass. But yeah, it's really easy.
How easy. Yeah. It's bad. But sometimes I liken medication to like sticking a plaster or a band-aid over a wound rather than actually treating the wound. I'm not saying, just to be clear, I'm not saying that medication is bad inherently or that we should never use medication. Just that it seems, from my point of view, just from being over here in England, that it's excessive over there.
Yeah, well, again, balance. It's just improperly used.
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
I watch a doctor, his name's Dr. Drew, and he's a fantastic doctor. I really like watching him. But he's talked about a lot because he absolutely hates the use of like opioids over here because we use opioids to treat chronic conditions. And he's like, an opioid is not a treat. Like if you have chronic back pain for 15 years, you're taking an opioid. Literally what you are doing is you're taking care of the symptoms, not the underlying problem. Like there's a reason why your back constantly hurts. We need to address that instead of just making you feel better every day. Like he's like, that doesn't solve anything.
That's what we do over here. I mean, maybe some places over here are terrible, but every experience I've ever had with a doctor or any friends or whatever, it always seems to be the same thing. They treat the actual source, or they try to. I struggle with sleep. You already know this, and I have done since I was a baby. My dad's told me that when I was a baby, I really struggled to sleep. It's apparently that went on into my adulthood, and I've asked many times for sleeping medication, and they refuse. They will not give me any. You have to just be like, this. It has to be really extreme for them to do that. And addiction is one of the reasons why they usually say no.
Yeah, and
they don't want me addicted to that stuff.
Even further than addiction, see, like what a lot of people don't understand is when you take sleeping pills, I think there's like 1, maybe 2 sleeping pills that will put you to sleep and not affect your REM sleep. Most sleeping pills will not allow you to hit REM sleep. So when you chronically give someone a sleeping pill and they take it for years on end, it can literally drive them insane because they will never actually hit REM sleep. And I know of somebody who is... It's horrible for your brain. It is not good. And again, it's the US and we give out pills like candy here.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, and in a lot of cases, melatonin works just as fine as any sleeping pill does. Like I'm sure since you have a problem with sleeping, you've tried melatonin.
I actually haven't.
Really? Okay, so if you actually want to address your insomnia issue, give melatonin a try. It's a hormone that your brain actually...
Is it a pill or some kind of...
You can get them in pill form, but you can also get them in gummies and stuff like that. Melatonin...
Is that white fluid?
No.
I've seen some
well, I said no, but I've never seen it in liquid form, so I have no idea what it looks like in a liquid. But I will say, so melatonin is just a hormone that your brain produces to induce sleep. So it's a very natural way of inducing sleep. And I will say one thing though, depending on your actual like biology, it will either be extremely effective or practically do nothing at all. For a lot of people though, like for me, if I take like 6 milligrams or 9 milligrams of melatonin, I'm sleeping for like 12 hours. Like I sleep like a rock, and it's really hard. Like for me, like I'll take if I take 3 milligrams of melatonin, I probably won't, like it won't make it to where I have to fall asleep. But I've eaten, again, melatonin, because it's natural and stuff, you could essentially take as much as you want of it, and it's not dangerous for you. Your body will just, you'll just pee it out. But I mean, I've taken like, because we had this gummy thing of melatonin where every 2 gummies was 3 milligrams. And, I was up super late at night and I just got distracted and I was eating gummies just on and off like every minute or so. And so by the time I had looked at it, I had probably eaten like 30 milligrams, 40 milligrams of melatonin. And by that point, like I was fighting to stay conscious, passed out, had the best night. Yeah.
I feel like you don't have to be Columbo to figure out why you might struggle with sleep, and I think it might have something to do with all the energy drinks and the coffee. Probably.
Like for me, I know I don't suffer from insomnia. For me, I don't have insomnia. I have a bright light on me most of the time. I'm taking in screen light. I drink too much. Oh God, get it into the camera. Drink too much coffee. Like I cause my non-sleep. Like that's me. Oh, and a
little bit, maybe.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, what's up, man? Yeah.
Try L-theanine.
That one's good too, but it's not nearly as effective as melatonin, because melatonin is literally what your brain will produce to get you sleepy. So it's
that like an over-the-counter sort of thing? Just like anyone can get it? You don't have to go to a doctor? Well, I suppose it could be different in your country to here. But...
Well, I mean, over here it's over the counter. You can pick it up anywhere.
I'll look into it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be life-changing, and I'll just like curse you for not telling me about it ages ago.
Hopefully so.
Curse myself for not going on YouTube ages ago to find out.
If your insomnia is something that really bothers you, I really hope it does work out for you. It's done wonders here. Anytime I'm like, I really need to fall asleep and I need to, it works for me. Now my buddy, on the other hand, he can eat, or not my buddy, I don't know what I'm talking about. My grandfather can eat melatonin, and he's this weird type of person where everything that affects most people in a certain way will affect him the exact opposite. Like he drinks caffeine and he gets tired. Like he'll drink like a 200 milligram.
To me.
He blows me away because it's always this type of way. Like, I can't remember what it was, but he got some stimulant, because, I can't remember what it was for, but he had to take a stimulant for some reason. And he would take a nap right after having it. Caffeine, nap. I give him melatonin, and he eats melatonin in the morning and then goes out and does work because it wakes him up. And I'm like, your body chemistry is so weird, man. So weird. Oh yeah, melatonin does help with jet lag too. Melatonin is great.
Powerful if it works for jet lag.
Mm-hmm. It's some pretty good stuff. But Buddy is in absolute need of going outside. He is very vocal about it. So, do you want to keep
this
talking?
Opportunity to head off then.
Perfect.
That's okay, because I'm really tired. I must not be that entertaining in this stream. It must be like the most boring stream for as far as me being in here, because I'm just so tired. I need to sleep.
No, dude, we've had some good conversation.
Coffee makes me want to go drink coffee. I've had fun. I've enjoyed it. I do appreciate you having me on.
Same here, man. Same here. It was a lot of fun. Had some good conversation. But I'm going to go ahead and end off the stream too. But have a good one. I hope you have a good night, man.
Take care, everyone in chat.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, I don't know what I was thinking, but I ended that off without him. But all right,